Welcome back to Fearless Ferris Fire. So, as you've already seen by the thumbnail and by the title, we're going to be hafting a little boy's axe today. The axe that I'm going to be hafting is this Swedish 3-pound axe. Pretty basic shape on this, but is a cool Swedish axe, and we're gonna get it ready to start using. So we're gonna be hafting or putting the handle on it today, and then we'll be sharpening it another day, which might make it into a video, might not, but we're going to be making a video of how I like to haft an axe. I'm sure if you search it up, I haven't actually, but I'm sure if you search it up, there will be a million different videos on hafting axes, but I'm going to put my own out. So, the handle that we're putting on it is something of a 20-inch handle, or a 30-inch handle, I think. 28-inch handle that we're putting on it from top to bottom. It'll probably shrink about 1.5 inches or 2 inches by when we're done. No, it's going to stay just about 28 inches altogether. So, to run through the steps I'm going to take to haft the axe. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the axe head is ready. I can't see anything inside the eye that might be causing it to not seat properly, and so that is not one of our problems. The second is I'm going to then shape the eye to fit the eye, or the the dowel of the shaft to be able to fit into the eye of the axe head. And as you can see, it fits pretty well, as good as probably we're going to get. We're not going to be able to add any material onto this axe to make it fit better, so that is not going to be, it's already ready to go onto the axe. Third thing I'm going to do, for personal reasons, I'm going to pull off, if we can get this to glimmer in the, as you can see, it glimmers in the light, and they put this acrylic kind of coating on here, and it really just is, it makes it so that the handle doesn't seem to last as long, because we can't put oil on it, because it's supposed to keep out water and all kinds of contaminants, but I'm going to get rid of that so that we can oil this handle and keep it good for longer than if we weren't able to oil it. So that's what I'm going to go do now. And, well, I'm going to put you into a time lapse, but materials that you really need for hafting an axe is you need your handle, you need your wedges, you need a hammer to be able to, or a mallet to be able to set your head onto your handle. You need maybe some rasps or sandpaper to be able to shape down the head, or shape down the dowel that's going into the head if it's not to shape. You also may want, sandpaper or rasps, or like a wood file. You also, if you're going to be pulling off this coating, as you can see, then you might want, again, some sandpaper. But besides that, you really don't need too much. Just a hammer or a mallet, some sandpaper, and a rasp if you need, and then your materials that you're actually putting onto the axe. So, I'm going to break you into a time lapse, and you'll watch me get rid of this coating, which is probably going to take longer than I want, but let's go with it. Alright, so here's how it's gone down. We have the handle all nice and sanded up. So you can tell by the dust coming off my hand, it's really fine. That's because, well, I started with a 60 grit sandpaper to pull all that finish. I'm just gonna call it. I'm not sure actually what it really is, but it's some kind of finish. So to pull the finish off, then I moved up to a 120 to then get rid of the 60 grit grooves. Then moved up to a 150 to get rid of the 120 grooves. Then I moved to a 220 to get rid of the 150 grooves. And then I moved to a 320 to get rid of the 220. And then I moved up to final a 400 grit finish, which gives it a nice smooth feel in the hand. And yeah, it just feels right now. So now that I have it at a 400 grit finish, I'm going to take my rag here, and I have some linseed oil, and I've just dipped my rag in the linseed oil, and I'm just going to coat the thing in a nice, very liberal layer of linseed oil. I'm just getting this everywhere just to make this handle nice and moist and good and protected. And now you can almost see a reflection because of that 400 grit finish, which is a lot nicer finish than you really need. But when you got the chance to do it, you just go ahead and make it as nice as you can. And then just gonna wipe the excess linseed oil off the handle, so then we can get to hafting the head onto it. Trying to get that, that little film of oil off my fingers, which I think I've done a pretty good job, but yeah, it feels really nice. It's not quite as much curves as like a Gransford Brook handle, but it'll perform just fine. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to move you guys over here, and I'll be right back with the mallet. So now I'm back. I have my Harley Quinn mallet here. I don't know if some of you get it or not, but it's a pretty big mallet. You don't need this big. That's just what I have on hand. And well, it's the biggest one we have here, and it makes it so it goes on really quick. So now I'm just going to take the axe head. I'm going to place it so that the flat side, or the top side, is down. I'm going to make sure to align the axe handle right so that this knob is pointing the bit, or the working face of the axe. I'm going to tap it on lightly from up top here, so then when we turn it over, the head does not fall off. And I'm going to set you guys down here on the floor so you can see this. And what we're going to do is we're just going to strike the end of the handle, the top end of the handle. And that sets the head. So do that a couple times. Do some good swings. You can also tamp it on the ground. I'm gonna grab a piece of wood to tamp it on so I'm not marring the handle badly with the concrete, but and now the head is placed. So next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some wood glue, but first, before we grab any wood glue or anything like that, I'm just going to come in here with a little shaver or like a box cutter, whatever you guys prefer to use, and I'm going to cut these curls that have formed from the head sliding down on the axe handle off and get it cleaned up. See you then. So, for shaving those curls off that formed from knocking the head of the axe down, I'm just going to use the small blade on my handy dandy little Tinker Swiss Army knife. I think that's what model this is. It doesn't really matter because they all basically have these small blades, but just for reference for you guys, because you don't need the Swiss Champ to grab the blade off the Swiss Champ to do this. You just, want a blade. But I'm not going to waste too much time with that now. Now it's time to set the wedges. So I'm going to bring you again down a step lower, and I'll come down with all my tools. So I got my ball peen hammer here. Got the axe. So first thing you want to do is you're going to want to set this large wedge. Keep in mind the wedge that comes with it is probably going to be a little big. So you might want to take, again, like your box cutter or your X-Acto knife or whatever you want to use, and just split and just carve it down to size. I'm going to pull a little bit more off this one. And I'll come back right when we're done. Also, I'm going to cut a little bit off the top here so that the wedge seats nice and deep. So we're back here now. I've got a wedge cut down roughly to size, and you're just going to want to take either your mallet. I'm just going to use the small ball peen hammer just because it's here, and set it slightly in. So to the point where it's starting to go in there, so that does not fall out when you're doing this next step now. So we're coming down here, and you can see I have my board here. I'm taking my large mallet, and we're going to hit the top end of the handle. And we are driving that wedge in. So once you have it set all the way in, I'll bring you guys back up here. You're supposed to not do this, but I like to just tap from the top a little bit more. And I'm going to go grab a punch just to set this down a little bit farther. Back here now with my punch, and I'm just going to set it on the wedge. And not localize too much force in one spot. So we're going to move along. That's basically what I'm saying. So now that is pretty tamped in, I'm going to go to the bandsaw, or you can use a handsaw, and I'm just going to cut it pretty much flush with the top of the axe head. Now this point is only if you cease as necessary, is to set the steel crosswise wedges in. I'm going to set both of these in just because I feel they don't make it as pretty, but they do help hold the handle in place well. And the second one. I'm gonna come back down on my knees so that I can be a little bit more stable. And set it all the way. And at this point, now you have successfully hafted the axe onto a nice handle. I like it nice and smooth, so when you're swinging, your hand has no resistance to fall. And it prevents as many blisters from forming. So I hope this helped you guys out. Hope this maybe give you some more ideas. And if not any of that, I hope it at least was entertaining. So please hit the like button if you liked it. Please hit the dislike button if you disliked it. Please subscribe if you want to support my channel. Please hit the notification bell if you want to see when the next video of mine comes out. So thanks much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you'll either go get an axe to haft, or that you have an axe lying around that you need to get a new handle on, and that you go ahead and do it, and you enjoy these beautiful tools. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.